So in 10th grade, I took a public speaking class, and our teacher had us play this game. The first person whispers a phrase to the person sitting next to them. Then they whisper it to the person next to them, and on and on and on until you get to the last person in the room, and they tell everyone what they were just told. And usually it's something just completely ridiculously different from where you started. So maybe you started with, I use an Apple phone, and the person next to you heard, I use Apple foam, and by the end of it, it's something like, what happened to my banana? Or something just so unrelated, it doesn't make any sense. So what does this have to do with writing music? Well, a lot of times people think that developing a musical idea is like playing a game of telephone. So they have their idea, and then they extend an interval up a third, and then they reverse the rhythm, and then they slow it down, and it just changes and changes and changes until where you end up is just nowhere near where you started. And as fun as this might be to write, it's really the wrong way to keep your piece unified, to keep your ideas connected, and to keep your listener engaged. By writing this way, you might think you're being clever, but really you're being confusing. You might be able to follow each iteration and change of your idea, but your audience is going to have a hard time keeping up. The whole point of the telephone game is to show how a message can be distorted and confused in a really short amount of time. It's not some intellectual exercise in developing thought, it's more like, wow, something went really wrong here. So why are you going to do that on purpose with your music? The right way to develop your musical idea is to take your idea and try it out in different contexts. So maybe you have your main idea, and then you say, hey, here's what it's like in minor. This is what it's like in 3/4. This is what it's like if we slow it down. It's more like you keep the identity of your core idea and you try it out in different settings. When people tell me that they're worried that if they use their same idea too many times, people are going to get bored, I always point them to Beethoven's Fifth. Count how many times he uses that opening motive. Seriously, if you count it, leave a message in the comment because I'd like to know. And you really could count it if you wanted to, because that idea is very trackable. You can tell whenever he's using that same idea from the beginning. Sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower, sometimes major or minor or slowed down, but the core idea is always there. So back to telephone. Instead of thinking of musical development like passing your idea from one person to the next, think of it more like giving your idea directly to each individual and seeing what they can do with it. That way you're only ever going to be one stage removed from your original idea. You're going to have cohesion and unity in your piece, and your listener is going to be able to keep up. People are much more likely to appreciate the different ways you develop and present your idea if they can make the connection to that main idea in the first place.